Um, oh wow, hang on. I've whited out.
Right, hold on. Shall I stop it?
Okay. Hello. This is our Doctor Who review for the third episode in the series, um, in this new season called Boom. And we are we are Geeks Assembled. That's
Mm,
Lee and me. And we're assembling today to deconstruct, to disassemble this Doctor Who episode and its relevance and or irrelevance to our daily lives, because Doctor Who is something that we've both enjoyed at various times. Uh, this one stars Chinigawa and Melanie. What's her name? Anyway, um, it's got Ruby Sunday and the Doctor in it, and it's takes place in a war zone, and kind of interesting what it turns out the war is about.
mm.
Let's flip on over to Lee across the pond. What's your opening thoughts on Boom?
I like the way you said we've enjoyed Doctor Who at times.
Yeah,
Because
well, I don't know
sometimes,
if you're enjoying any of. I don't know if you've enjoyed anything since Matt Smith left.
well, I didn't mind Capaldi. I thought he was a brilliant Doctor. Um, but we're talking about this one, aren't we?
Mhm.
Boom by Stephen Moffat.
Yeah,
Um,
written by Stephen Moffat. Oh my gosh, we haven't heard his name in a while.
yeah, I've in the past week I've been reading articles, watching YouTube videos about Doctor Who, about the new series, about the backlash because of what the actors have said to the fans. Um, yeah, it's I don't, and I thought Stephen Moffat, great, because he can pull a rabbit out of a hat. So it's, and the episode could be quite good, um, because there's been backlash of the past two episodes. Um, it's it, yeah, you've said it's on a war torn planet with the Anglican um, army, whatever it's called. Because we've seen these before in the Matt Smith era, the Anglican army
Hmm.
in its stone. Um, so I thought,
Exactly.
oh, good. We're harking back to that. It started off good. These two soldiers in the war zone, one blinded, and um, so it was a good start. And then the Doctor appeared, and then nothing happened for 45 minutes. Um, he was just stood on a landmine. Um, there was no story. Um, the Doctor stood on a landmine has been done before in Genesis of the Daleks.
Hmm.
It didn't take 45 minutes to sort that one out. Um, yeah, so it's. I liked it better than the first episode, Space Babies. I think I like anything better than that one. But there was just nothing there. There was no substance. I mean, Shield is showing that he can act his emotions. Um, couldn't care less about Ruby Sunday. She's just characterless to me. Because she's turning out to be another. We've been down this road before. another impossible girl. We've been and done that. We've worn the t-shirt.
No, she's not the impossible girl. The other one is. That's Susan Friss.
Cool.
So, Susan, what's the last name? Go on.
The
I,
impossible girl was Clara.
I know what you're talking about, but
We've been down that story route before, but
okay.
Ruby Sunday is turning into another impossible girl with the snow. She's got secrets. There's something going on, and I'm thinking we've been down this route before with with Clara. As I say, the character just doesn't speak to me. It doesn't stand out. Um, we meet the future companion in this, and I can't remember her name. The one, the other um, soldier who survives the episode. Um, and I mean, I can't fault the effects because that's you've got Disney's money pumping. It's been pumped into for the effects and everything like that. Um, yeah, for me, Moffat can write good stories. It's proved that this story, for me, was a better story than the first two. But that's Russell T Davies. But there was still no action. There was nothing. Um, it was a strange one. It started off good for me, and then it just teetered. It was stagnant. I mean, I know Susan Yogan must be said it's got completely the opposite. I know because that's we don't always agree on everything, but yeah, I was expecting more. Um, because when it finished, I thought, well, right, I've just sat and watched the Doctor just stood there for 45 minutes. You know, and how? I mean, there was no way in this episode what was given. There was no clues or anything given. How the hell did the Doctor figure it out while he was stood on a landmine? What was going on? There was nothing there for him to decipher what was going on. That there was no enemy. The only enemy was the AI logarithms and um the what do you call it? The people
Acceptable losses
keeping the war going to make money.
to make money and
Yeah,
acceptable
well,
losses.
I think he was trying to make it out as capitalism, but I don't think it was not capitalism. It was I think there's another thing worse than capitalism these
It's
days. But
called the military industrial complex.
yeah, yeah.
I do believe that that um, President Eisenhower quoted that or something.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, it was sort of worried over for a number of years. It's still worried over.
I mean, I did like the idea of the the landmine when destroying the person stood on it. You've condensed or whatever into like a tube. Well, it's like an urn, isn't it?
Uh huh.
But it's got your what
Your
do you call
thoughts and
hologram?
feel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, hologram. I did like that idea.
Yeah.
Um, but there was just the story. There was no. A lot of people said there was no story, and I agree there wasn't. Um, but they say it's proved this episode has proved that Shooty can show a bit of more emotion than he has done in the past two. So he has, you know, he's getting there.
Okay.
But yeah, well, that's what I thought of it. So back to you, Susan.
All right. Well, it's it's not that there's nothing going on. It's that the smallest changes create jeopardy in that. They were going to shoot him if he didn't release the urn or release the tube. I mean, there was a little jeopardy here and there in that the smallest bit of adrenaline or stress pushes down on the landmine. And I was wondering, like, if they were going to talk about Mavity, because that was kind of a throwback from the other
Mhm.
from the specials, um, the Isaac Newton one, and um, yeah. So and the whole thing about it being a landmine is something uh, that I could that I could kind of see being really important to folks in the UK, because a lot of your land was landmined. Uh, World War I and World War II and stuff. And a lot of the mainland in Europe was landmined too, and Africa actually too. And Princess Diana, uh, she was all about clearing them and just bringing awareness to that. So I mean, there was a little bit of a throwback to that, and and yeah, the landmine was in Genesis of Daleks, and there's also like the one in the field in the one with the sea devils. Maybe it was
Mhm.
called the Sea Devils. Yeah, I think it was called the Sea Devils. Anyway, so yeah, the issue was my issue with this is, where was the Dr. Sonic? I mean, if there's anything that a little bit of hyper expensive unique technology, having that in your pocket, why didn't he use it on the landmine? I mean,
Yeah.
I was wondering where this thing that looked like a correcting fluid dispenser or a shelf labeler. Um, that's what his Sonic looks like to me. It I really liked Jody's because it was created out of Sheffield steel, and Sheffield steel is a thing, and it competes with Russia, and it competes with China, and it competes with US Steel. And US Steel is a big company. I used to work as a driller for an exploration part of US Steel. I mean, Sheffield Steel is like the British crowbar that keeps your island nation separate from really the rest of that hungry steel uh capitalism. Yes, it has to do with capitalism. This story had to do with capitalism, but why they couldn't include, like, the 13th Doctor Sonic, created out of the foil for large oligarchical capitalism, Sheffield Steel, owned by the British people. That's where that comes in, and why they couldn't even use the other one, the one with correcting fluid in it, you know, reality correcting fluid. Anyway, so uh there was that. The other thing is I loved how the doctor had to become sort of calm and serene in order not to trigger it, and that was fun and different. And the other thing was I really liked the fact that I liked the fact that um that it became part of Ruby's experience that she was shot, and that now she's been injured, disabled here on this process of you know following the doctor around. She knows how dangerous it's going to be. She almost was eaten as a baby. She almost watched a baby get eaten. She was almost, all these things. She's almost died a bunch of times, which is really cool. I mean, it's that kind of jeopardy that keeps a fan watching. Especially since it challenges the idea that this is really a totally for kids show. Because if you're going to put your leads in that much danger, it won't it won't rest well with the kids. And the other part of it is I liked the fact that she finally made it to another planet. I mean, that's always good. But let's
Mm.
see. The other thing is, uh, can't wait for her to get back to London and to Unit with their great big Avengers Tower. I mean, that's good. I mean that's going to be great. Anyway, um, and I know that it's because of this Jeopardy, which is why all the companions now have a support group, have a like a 12-step meeting. Yeah, the travel with the doctor has made my life a mess, and my life has become unmanageable. Like that, like you just start off with that kind of thinking, and you're like, oh, okay, well, we can get better together.
Um, I mean, this episode also had a go at religion and faith.
Yeah, it did.
And I didn't understand why the doctor says he doesn't believe in faith. He does, because if you go back to the case of Fenric, faith was the one thing what kept them going. His
Yeah,
faith, his faith in Ace.
yeah.
So the the writers have forgotten all
No,
about
he Moffat means faith in God.
faith in what you believe in.
No, but faith in God is what Moffat means.
But yeah,
Moffat
so
Moffat doesn't isn't brave enough to say that, but that's kind of what he's meant all along.
the doctor saying he doesn't have faith. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
something else. Also, it was mentioned that Ruby was 3,000 and something years old. Now, has she travelled that far into the future, or is she 3,000 and something years old?
No, I think that she traveled that far,
That, but what that might have been put in there to give us a clue, because remember, she was left on a doorstep.
but she was also Lee, she was this was her first time at another planet, so it could have
Yeah, but
it
it
was
depends how far in the future that planet is.
yeah, true.
I mean, it could only be 100 years into their future, but then you're thinking, now, was she left on the doorstep, but had she come from somewhere in outer space
Hmm.
from another time?
I don't know. That's a good question. But I
Um,
don't think it was that only that far in the future because it's called Anglican.
yeah,
Okay. And those bits with uh with River Song were uh you know way far in the future.
mm,
The Anglican that whole thing, that's, you know, to be honest, Moffat writes against, he's pretty much against the faith in God. He's not against faith. He's just really against faith in God. And you get that through these stories that he tells. I don't know.
mm.
But that's just him. And I bring the opposite mindset when I watch, because I got faith in God. But the other thing is, this story that he tells of jeopardy with the doctor is, you know all of those things that he expanded on with 10, 11, and 12. I mean, where did all of those little gems of working your way out scientifically go? I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, those landmines can be disarmed while you're standing on it, apparently. That's one of the things that
I mean, I think the good thing about this episode was it wasn't
Mhm.
a fantasy storyline; it was science fiction.
Yeah, without a lot of the
Yeah,
sciencey stuff, because
there was no fantasy, there was no godlike presence of the maestro or anything like that. It was just a not down to earth, but a grounded
hmm
um
I agree
episode,
that's true.
which I prefer really when
Okay,
seeing for the past two ones. Um, but also, as they say, there's always a twist at the end, isn't there?
is that the Susan twist?
Susan Twist.
Okay, that's who I mean. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, sh- isn't she the impossible one? Okay, do you do you,
Well,
do you get that? Do you see where I'm coming from with that?
no, I'm just saying there's something to do with that actress because the actress's name is Susan Twist,
Okay.
and she's been in now Wild Blue Yonder,
Uh-huh.
The Church on Ruby Road,
Uh-huh.
Space Babies,
Uh-huh.
Devil's Cord,
Uh-huh.
and Boom.
Uh-huh.
She was the face of the ambulance in Boom.
Uh-huh.
Um, but there's some playing on here. Is it going to be that obvious? Is it going to be Susan?
Uh,
The twist is it Susan? Susan Twist.
huh.
Is it that in plain sight?
I hope so. I hope it's Susan. But I hope everything
If
you
it
know
is,
me.
it won't be Carol Ann Ford, will it?
Oh, come on.
Well, but why? Why is Russell T Davies using this actress in nearly every episode?
I
There's
don't
got
know.
there's got to be something in the ongoing arc why this actress has been used in every episode.
Hmm. I
It,
don't
I mean, I know she missed out. She wasn't in the Giggle, but if she's in next week's, there's something going on.
probably either that, or RTD is trying to resurrect her career.
But I mean, it was said there's always a twist in the end. It was said, was that last week's episode?
Yeah.
There's always a twist at the end.
Yeah.
And her name being Twist
Very funny. Okay,
was
okay, okay, I get it. Very funny. It's
Yeah.
droll. It's
Are they,
droll as fuck.
are they verbally giving clues?
Yeah, all right.
Susan is the twist.
Okay, and I would hope so.
But is
Here,
this another?
here
Is
is me hoping for Susan to appear. Carol Ann Ford is freaking awesome. So if
maybe
they,
maybe they're using this actress as another version of Susan?
hmm, because of
Who
her
knows?
name.
Well, it's I've looked. She is on, uh, as Susan Twist actress. So
Okay.
unless RTD has filled out every Wikipedia page and Google and I made this character name up. But yeah, I just found. Yeah, I thought when I saw the face, I thought, well, she was in last week's episode, and she
Yeah.
was in the because she was the tea lady last week.
Yep.
She was on the video screen in Space Babies.
Yeah.
Um, I can't remember what she was on Ruby Road, but she was the maid, Isaac Newton's maid in Wild Blue Yonder.
Uh-huh.
So she's there.
Yeah. Yeah. So that okay, that's where I'd like to you know the other tech that he could have used to overcome uh the landmine is those gloves,
Yeah,
the gravity glove
yeah. Well, they
or
managed.
mavity glove, whatever you want to call it now. I'm not hung up on calling things using our old vernacular.
But there's one thing I thought was a bit stupid. I know it's a science fiction, but it's been running for 60 years. The Doctor's been in so much jeopardy of being
Hmm.
killed and whatever. I'm sorry, he would not take half the planet with him if he got blew up.
Hmm.
He's not a supernova charged time lord.
Hmm.
If you got,
Yeah, that was a little weird.
I couldn't understand that. I thought,
But
no,
then again, they were using the people as ordnance.
yeah, but
Yuck.
I
I
mean, it's
mean,
like when
that was such a good, you know, such a good uh bell ringing for against the military industrial complex, you know? I mean, that was brutal. I mean, the whole idea that you could turn the people themselves into the bombs. I mean, come on. That's incredibly uh yeah, that's just incredibly well thought out destruction.
well, so I've seen reviews, I've read articles, because people are saying, oh, Moffat will mostly bring Doctor Who back to form after the first two episodes from the other week. Um, it was better. I don't think it's going to save it.
I don't think it needs to be saved. It's just fine the way it is.
Oh, it does need to be saved.
Oh God.
If
Please, come on. It's a it's a fucking good show. It's not rubbish. It's
people aren't watching it, it only got just over 2 million views.
in the UK
No,
on Disney Plus.
well,
No, you don't know on Disney Plus. They won't tell you. They don't actually release their their market share because that's the secret.
yes,
I
and if it
mean, that
doesn't,
really is a secret. That's how Mandalorian. Anyway, go
if
on.
people aren't watching it, and Disney have put money in it, they won't want to make any more, will they? It's all about making the money.
Hmm.
That's all I'm saying. And the viewing figures are going down and down. This, I mean, I thought with Moffat's name behind this, it'd have gone the viewing, it would been a bit more viewing. But that episode, boom, is now the lowest viewed Doctor Who episode ever.
Hmm.
2.04 million.
All right, but that's what I'm saying. You won't know what they're getting on Disney Plus.
Only,
And
only a bit.
a lot of you lot actually are watching on Disney Plus and not on.
It's not on Disney Plus in the UK.
It isn't?
No, I've looked.
Okay.
It's on BBC iPlayer.
Okay. So your figures are hopelessly low at this point.
Yeah. I mean, there's been
That
talk
that
about,
is really sad. That is really weird and sad, and I don't understand that at all.
yeah. So as you say, it does need people to watch it. If it's to carry on, people need to watch it. And this is what happened back in 1989.
Hmm.
Viewing figures dropped and dropped. Not as bad as 2.04 million, but it got axed. I know Disney has put money behind two series, and I think they filmed them back to back. So
But
what happened?
but
What happened?
until the end of uh, until they release the viewing figures,
Mhm.
they did, what is it, Bespin Journal or whatever? They don't uh th- somehow they're able to get uh after about 6 months they're able to get the viewing figures for the previous viewings on Star Wars. But it's really hard to get the viewing ship release those figures right away.
Mm.
Um, but we'll see. And if it is really, really lousy, then there won't be much to save it.
Well, it's just
It's
it.
sad. That's
Yeah, I mean,
really
and this is
sad.
the and
That's
it's the
almost as sad as the Time Traveler's Wife, which we'll be reviewing later on this weekend. I mean,
I
it's
mean,
really sad.
sad. It's sad that it the actors. I mean, this week have been complete arseholes towards the fans.
What happened?
Um, well, Shooty said, "Well, if you don't like the way the program's going, go outside and touch grass." And apparently everybody did, and they didn't go watch it.
Hmm.
Um, Jinx Monsoon, the drag queen, said, "Don't let the door hit you on the backside on the way out." Told all of the old fans to fuck off. We don't need you. Even Russell T Davies has said things like that. I'm sorry, but that is why there's a backlash against Doctor Who now. Um, Apparently, Jinx Monsoon thinks for every old Doctor Who fan that leaves, they're going to get 5 new represented fans to the new series. It don't work like that. So I just don't know if they've decided this is the way they're going to make the show or not. This is the way they've made it, and I think it's a bad idea.
Hmm.
You know,
Well, I know that RTD was trying to birth something more representative, more,
You
with
don't need representation.
you kind of do, but
Nah,
yeah,
you
you
don't
kind
because
of do.
you've got that anyway. You know, but he's forcing it 100% when you don't need it 100%. This is what people are saying. Why is he forcing it? Every episode, it's something in here or said there. You don't need it. And take that from a gay man.
I know, but like the representation is important. It's important. It is,
It's
and
important for
the characterizations are good as they stand right now.
well, it's not the way things are going over here.
But
But you don't attack the fans if things aren't going your way, the way you expected it to. You don't attack the fans because they will turn the back on you.
yeah, Jodie was never short with any fans anywhere. She was absolutely like sunshine and rainbows, and people still were like, "Not my doctor."
Yeah. I mean, Shooty said, "I'm so sad nobody's watching." That's because you tell them to go outside and touch grass. So,
Wow,
yeah,
that's incredibly sad to
yeah.
hear.
I mean, if you go on YouTube, you'll see all these YouTubers talking about it, all these interviews, what Russell T Davies has done in the past week,
Oh,
and what Shooty said. It's amazing. What thinking they never used to be like this a few years back on the show.
oh,
The actors respected the fans. It was because it's the fans what kept the show going.
yeah.
No, that's my piece anyway.
All right. I didn't know about it until
Yeah,
you told
yeah.
me. So that's rough.
So
What can we
hopefully,
do? I mean,
well,
as fans, what can we do? We can't.
if they've filmed, as I said, the second season already filmed, and they've kept the way they're going, I can't see them getting a third season out of Disney.
Mm,
If because without the money from Disney, there's nothing. So,
probably right.
and all it takes is just some good writing, and it. I know what you mean about representation, but it doesn't have to be constant. And RTD seems to think it needs to be, and it doesn't.
Well, I mean, he's been doing it since,
We know, but he wasn't doing it back then in 2005, really, or when he brought it all back. But all of a sudden, he's changed. He's seen the light. I've really gone off Russell T Davies, to be honest.
hmm,
A lot of fans have.
hmm.
Uh, what can you do? We've digressed.
We have, but I mean, I am an SJW from way back, and I don't believe that representation or pronouns or gender uh, uh, identity and all of those things are necessarily things that are really ubiquitous by now. I think that it is important. I mean, if they aren't seen in science fiction, you know, they sure as hell won't be seen in regular fiction because there is no distance emotionally from the watching audience to the things on the screen, and that's hard. It's really hard for the people who are really repressed, and it's just hard.
You don't need the constant lines, dialogue of correcting the straight white guy, which fucking annoys me. Um, you don't need it. You could see Jinx Monsoon as Maestro was a drag queen. You didn't have to. Nothing needed to be said. The character spoke for itself. But no, Russell T Davies had to put fucking words on screen. Them, they, me, like he did in the Star Beast, which isn't. He's just repeating. I don't know. Really gets my gears grounded. But yeah, can we go back to Boom?
Sure. So the algorithm being the computerized version of basically war games. What'd you think?
Yeah, but how? See this? I just don't know how he worked it out. There was nothing there for him to work any of that out. I mean, the Doctor always works things out through the episode. Right, we'll do this, we'll do that, and yeah, we'll sort that out. But all of a sudden, in the last minute of the episode, well, 2 minutes of the episode, he just blets this out, blets that out. What? Where did that come from?
Well, it wasn't that kind of what he was doing with the ropes in Church on Ruby Road? I mean, he didn't have a lot of the. It's if anything, it's just like it is repeating that sort of cleverness. It's like trying to prove that the Doctor is clever again, and can work things out from just a straight uh, intellectual basis, not as an experimental scientist. I mean, Pertwee's doctor was nothing if not the most experimental scientist.
True, but we always worked things out with the Doctor as he went along. And all of a sudden, this was like an outburst at the end about all this, about the technology, about the log. And I'm thinking, where did that come from?
Hmm.
Why did we know anything about that? Because you learn with the Doctor as you go along.
Yeah,
The Doctor is a teacher.
yeah,
He's he's teaching his companion, but he's also teaching us who's watching the screen.
yeah.
But it just came out the blue at the end of the episode. Oh, what? I thought there should have been some explanation earlier on, this, that, and the other,
Hmm.
because that's what he does, isn't it? He teaches. He takes someone under his wing, he protects them and teaches them, shows them the universe.
Yeah.
But that just,
Well,
yeah,
that's why Ace called him the professor.
yeah. Hey, Professor. Yeah, dear. But I did. I sort of enjoyed. This is a strange episode because I sort of enjoyed it, but there was nothing happening. You know what I mean? I think it had. How can I enjoy? I enjoyed the beginning, as I
Well, okay,
said.
isn't this sort of like reducing the expenditure because it was all in one place? There's I mean, isn't there sort of like that same thing that happened in Edge of Destruction and
Hmm. But there was
uh
more. To me, there was more threat in that than that. Boom. To be honest,
are you sure? Yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
because because with Edge of Destruction, he was also there was four of them who was going through hell uh, mentally.
Hmm.
They were losing their minds, wasn't they?
Hmm.
This was just the Doctor sweating a lot and one leg in the air. um, yeah, I'm trying to think of another Doctor where it was just like, well, Heaven Sent was set in one place over and
Hmm.
over again, but that had
That had a
uh,
repetition and
more
like a
gravitas.
lot, a lot of physicality in
Yeah.
it.
But so this was just, I wish I could get to like Ruby, but I don't know. The character just doesn't seem there to me.
Oh, okay.
And it's not like me not to like a companion sort. I mean, I'm not a big fan of Rose because I think she overstayed her welcome too long. Some do. Some I could wish they could stay for a bit longer.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, yeah, it's a weird one. This one. Uh,
So
that's my sort.
what's your final say and score?
I can't give it high. Shall I go middle of the road? I'll go middle of the road. I'll give it a five. Five ambulances out of 10.
All right.
That's better than a one.
Well, that is better than a one. And it's
At
two
least it was.
better than the three that was the last one. So you're just moving up a little bit every day.
At least there was no musical.
But let me suggest that the next that if you stay tuned, maybe in the next podcast you'll see him come up above the halfway mark. Um, I I liked it okay. It was the the social justice part of it was great about being against the military industrial complex because there's nothing quite as insane as a group of people doing battle with themselves. It's like that one with the there's one Clone War episode that's all about this group of clones doing battle with this group of clones. No separatists anywhere to be seen. And then there's also and that's also like the whole issue with the proliferation of nuclear weapons is like that that was seeming like us against ourselves as a human race. Yeah, now we can fuck shit up on this planet completely, like a
Yeah,
million times over. And that's why it was so devastating that the people became the ordinance. Like there was some sort of chemical reaction that turned them into the bombs. Anyway,
next week looks interesting.
what's next week?
So 73 yards.
Oh, okay.
That's the next Doctor Who episode. Looks interesting. Um, the trailer. I saw the trailer and it looks a bit Doctor Light.
Huh.
But that was just a trailer, so they might have just shown bits without him in it. But yeah,
Yeah, I don't know anything about 73 yards.
it looks a bit spooky.
Yeah, it does. And you know, I'm just looking forward to when they bring Susan back. Anyway,
If
oh
if well, that's just an idea, there, isn't it?
yeah, and it's a good one because that's what I've been asking for all along, and since I got a T-shirt that says "Bring Ace Back," and they did. So here I've got a Facebook page that says "Bring Susan Back," and I think that they will. Anyway,
There's always a
yeah,
twist.
my enjoyment of Doctor Who is not decreased. That's why an 8.5 is, is where
It's
I'm headed.
it's not I'm not enjoyment. It's just it's a mixed feeling about it.
And the fact that this is exactly uh what Diana and then, Harry went after, y'all's royals over there are taking on this military industrial complex with yourselves, again, like demining things. And all you really needed was a sonic screwdriver, just like the doctor. Oh my God, I can't
I
believe he
don't
left it alone. And I can't believe that he didn't
I
have
don't I
another
don't
tool. Like
I don't
why couldn't she run back to the TARDIS and grab one of those fancy schmancy doohickeys that he's got?
I don't like his sonic screwdriver.
It looks like one of those things that dispenses liquid paper.
It looks like a butt plug.
No, not really.
It does the way he's got it in his hand and it's like that. It looks like a bloody butt plug.
No, no, no. I'll show you.
Well, no, I don't want to see any of your butt plugs.
No, I mean I'll show you the white paper dispenser,
Oh,
the
right.
correcting fluid. God, you horn dog. Jeez. Anyway, so thank you for watching our podcast and our little deliberation about these things. Please do like and subscribe, hit the bell notification button, and also get in touch with Lee if you want to join us. All you gotta have is 18 years old, camera, a microphone, and a device to do it, and Zoom, and then also join us on our social media. We've got X, we got uh, that always sounds like drugs to me. That's really what Leon Musk has created. Anyway, X and Tumblr and Facebook group, and yeah, so just join that, and then let Lee know if you want to join us. And thanks for watching. And all I can say is boom.
Boom, boom.